An arrest made concerning a deadly stabbing in Bakersfield. Heated arguments erupt during a Kern County Fair Board meeting regarding spending practices. And President Trump, the subject of continuing testimony on Capitol Hill. This is 17 News at noon.
Good afternoon. Thanks for joining us. I'm Maddie Jansen. We begin with breaking news. PG&E announced another potential public safety power shutoff that could affect a small portion of Kern County. The utility company just announced that due to hot, dry winds and elevated fire risk, the company may cut power to 30 Bakersfield customers, 41 in Arvin and 4 in Lebec. PG&E began notifying those customers this morning. Based on current forecasts, the peak winds could blow from about 2 a.m. Thursday until noon Friday. If you're a PG&E customer, you can text the word enroll to 97633 to be notified in an event of a potential public safety power shutoff. Now to an arrest in a deadly stabbing that happened Monday morning. Bakersfield police say 26-year-old David Valles was arrested in connection to the attack in the 1000 block of Lameda Drive just after 8 a.m. A man with several stab wounds was taken to a hospital for treatment, but later died of his injuries. Officers say Valles was taken into custody in the 900 block of South Union Avenue. He's been booked into the Kern County Jail on suspicion of murder. The name of the stabbing victim has not been released by the sheriff's office. By our count, there have been 83 homicides in Kern County so far this year, 7 so far this month. Last year, there had been 98 homicides by this time. We continue to remind you that you can find all of this information on our website, KGET.com. Just click on the homicide tracker icon. Kern County Fair Board members got an earful from residents last night upset about alleged misuse of funds. The meeting was the first since our story late last month revealed the state audit that alleges Kern County Fair officials misused and mismanaged more than $300,000 of your tax dollars. The agenda did not include the audit, but for members of the public who showed up, it was on top of their minds. Since this was during the public comment portion of the meeting, board members weren't required to respond.
You are demonstrating for all of us that you don't care. You don't care. It's disgraceful.
We don't get taxpayer money. There's grants that are provided for development projects, but we're operated like a business. Our revenue, the tickets from sales, the tickets from parking, we don't receive or abuse any taxpayer money, and because it's the money that we generate here at the fair.
We tried to get comment from CEO Mike Alcott after the meeting, but he and some of the other board members walked out of the room pretty quickly. Meantime, the DA's investigation into Kern County Fair's misuse of funds is ongoing. Residents in the Pacific Palisades are back in their homes after a fire broke out yesterday morning, forcing them to evacuate. Los Angeles firefighters spent the day battling fast-moving flames in the Pacific Palisades hillside area that threatened multi-million-dollar homes. The fire was initially reported as a 1-acre fire and spread to 18 acres in a matter of minutes. Firefighters say no structures have been damaged by the flames. Evacuation orders were lifted shortly after 8 p.m. last night, according to the Los Angeles Police Department. As of 9 p.m., the fire was contained and had burned about 40 acres. A brush fire moved into a residential neighborhood after breaking out near Little Mountain Basin in San Bernardino yesterday. High winds pushed the blaze, dubbed the Little Mountain Fire, into a hilltop neighborhood. That's where winds sent embers into the air, causing a number of small fires. The blaze damaged at least 9 homes, including one that was destroyed. Some residents refused to leave their homes, causing additional challenges for firefighters. There are a few hydrants in the Little Mountain area, so crews had a limited water supply, and with water tenders running up and down the hill to resupply. The cause of the Little Mountain Fire remains under investigation. All right, so now we're looking at more of these hot, dry winds coming our way. Is that right, Kev?
We are expecting a warm-up as we go throughout the next few days, and fire danger will increase a little bit as we head into Thursday. And you can see the skies remain clear out there. A little bit of a haze due to the air quality. Yesterday's high, well, it was warm, 79 degrees, but pretty close to the normal this time of year, which is 77. Right now, we said it's 74 degrees with no winds out there for Bakersfield. As we take a look at the hour-by-hour forecast, we will see 80s this afternoon and then slipping back into the 60s overnight. And then for the Taft area, 79 degrees right now. Very light wind out of the northwest at 8. I do expect a little breeze to pick up throughout the afternoon, but nothing really to worry about. We expect the winds to pick up a little bit on Thursday. As we take a look at the hour-by-hour forecast here, we're looking at 70s this afternoon, and then we will slip down into the 40s by midnight. We'll talk more about this fire weather coming up in just a few minutes.
All right, thanks, Kevin. 17 News is your local election headquarters as Supervisor David Couch announces he will seek another term as 4th District representative on the County Board of Supervisors. Couch has served on the board since 2013, winning elections in 2012 and 2016, and the 2018 special election for the newly redrawn 4th District. He released a statement this morning that says, quote, "I am proud of what we've accomplished together and look forward to continuing to serve our community." The White House, meantime, is bracing for what could be another critical day of testimony on Capitol Hill. A key figure in the Ukraine controversy testifying today. President Trump taking new aim at Democrats investigating him and calling on Republicans to get tougher to defend his presidency. NBC's Kristen Welker reports.
In just hours, one of the key figures in the Ukraine controversy is expected to take the hot seat. Bill Taylor is the top U.S. diplomat in Ukraine, and his text messages will likely be front and center on Capitol Hill today. In one, Taylor wrote, "It's crazy to withhold security assistance for help with a political campaign." That message sent to the top EU ambassador Gordon Sondland back in September. Sondland responded more than 4 hours later. The president has been crystal clear, no quid pro quos of any kind. But Sondland recently testified he was directed by the president to write just that and does not know why the aid was held up. The president taking new aim at the entire investigation.
Pelosi, Shifty Schiff, Schumer, these people are trying to destroy the country. It's a very bad thing what they're doing. The president of the United States should be allowed to run the country, not have to focus on this kind of crap.
It comes after the president called on members of his own party to do a better job defending him amid the intensifying investigations by House Democrats.
Republicans have to get tougher and fight because the Democrats are trying to hurt the Republican Party for the election.
And he tried to rally his core supporters by warning impeachment could be inevitable.
Do you believe that it's a foregone conclusion that the House will impeach?
Well, I think they want to. Any Democrat wants to because they're not going to beat me in the election. So, of course, they want to impeach. Why wouldn't they want to impeach me? It's so illegitimate. It cannot be the way the founders, our great founders, meant this to be.
But adding to the anxiety inside the White House, some Republicans have been sharply critical.
We certainly can't have presidents asking foreign countries to provide something of political value that is, after all, against the law.
Prompting the president to lash out, accusing Republicans of failing to outmatch Democrats.
I think they're lousy politicians. But two things they have. They're vicious and they stick together. They don't have Mitt Romney in their midst.
That was NBC's Kristen Welker reporting. The president's defending his decision to pull the plug on plans to hold the next G7 summit at his resort in Doral, Florida. NBC News has learned the president suddenly changed course after hearing from a group of House Republicans huddled at Camp David and opposed the idea. That's according to two sources in the room. Well, what's supposed to be a joyous time can be devastating and isolating for so many, but there's a new treatment offering hope to moms who suffer postpartum depression. And speaking of new treatments, one is on the horizon that could change the future of 90% of cystic fibrosis patients in a big way. Your 17 Health Watch is after the break. Back now on your 17 Health Watch this afternoon, a tremendous breakthrough for people with cystic fibrosis. The Food and Drug Administration approved a new treatment for a majority of people living with the genetic disease. Trikafta will help more than 90% of patients, providing a highly effective therapy for the underlying cause of their disease. The treatment's been approved for people 12 and up. The trial with children 6 to 11 will wrap up next year, potentially meaning the drug could be used in those ages as well. Clinical trials of Trikafta show dramatic improvements in key measures of the disease. A new medication offers relief for postpartum depression in just a few days. Jasmine Bailey reports.
This is our routine. We get up in the morning and get dressed.
Monique Dorman is handling mom life well.
Good morning, Erin.
But when her son was just born, this nurse was overwhelmed.
I remember one time specifically, he was crying. And like I said, I just felt this, like the blood just ran up to me. And, I was just so anxious and just, and I knew that wasn't normal.
Monique was suffering from postpartum depression and, like most, was prescribed an antidepressant. It took weeks to kick in, but a new FDA-approved medication claims to resolve postpartum depression in less than 3 days.
Life-altering isn't even enough. For me, this is literally saving my life.
Michelle Kinline is one of the first women in the country to take Zulresso. The mother of two lives in New Jersey. Pictures show Michelle receiving the 60-hour IV drip, which requires medical supervision and a hospital stay.
Morning one, I had energy, which was, the mornings were awful for me. Getting out of bed was near impossible.
Zulresso is a brexanolone injection. It gives patients a synthetic version of a steroid prevalent in a pregnant woman's brain. That steroid drops significantly after giving birth, leading to anxiety and depression.
It's definitely like sudden cold turkey on a hormone that you're accustomed to having in your brain, and some women will be able to adapt to that sudden loss, some women not so much.
Dr. Shweta Patel said some of Zulresso's side effects include passing out. That's why there's a hospital stay. But she's more concerned about the $34,000 cost.
Depending on what insurance companies will cover, ultimately that's going to be what impacts the patient in terms of how much they pay.
A spokesperson from Sage Therapeutics, the company that makes Zulresso, says patients who qualify can receive financial assistance for treatment through its Sage Central program. All right, let's take a look outside this afternoon. Looking a little hazy out there.
A little hazy due to the air quality, and that is going to be moderate the rest of the day here. Temperatures are warming day by day as well. We're in November, and we're going to start looking at the mid to upper 80s here. Currently 74 in Bakersfield, 75 in Delano, Buttonwillow at 76. We also have the 70s, lower 80s in the mountains. In fact, I bumped the temperature up for Tehachapi today. You're now at 79, 81 out of Lake Isabella. Overnight, though, we were at 53, right where we should be this time of year. Again, our normal is 77, and the record of a 95, that was set back in 1901. Take you out near Wasco. You've got sunny skies, 75 degrees there. Arvin, 77 degrees as well, and clear. And Golden Hills, beautiful sky, and they're in the upper 70s. Here's a look at the satellite and radar, and really a quiet start to the afternoon. It's going to be a quiet 7 days. I'm not expecting much in terms of sky cover to really make its way into Kern County and even along the coastal areas. A very nice and, I'm going to say, hot day. Wait until you see the daytime highs, and here you go. Los Angeles, 94. We're looking at 76 out of Fresno today and 69 out of the Bay Area. Even San Diego, that bumped up from where we were forecasting earlier today. They're looking at 91. These temperatures warmer than Vegas and even warmer than Phoenix. Now, let's take a look at the beaches as we take a look at the afternoon here. And you can see what we're looking at up near Pismo, 93 degrees. That is going to be the high. That is not a typo here. And we're looking at a light northwest wind 5 to 10. Rip current risk is moderate, and even a warm day in Morro Bay at 79 degrees. So pushing 80 degrees, and we're almost at the end of October, and a west-northwest wind 10 to 15 today. What is causing this? We have a very large ridge of high pressure just offshore. This is going to create that dry air the next few days. In fact, the ridge is going to nudge north and east. We'll see more of an offshore wind heading into Thursday. And now we were talking about PG&E and still those shutoffs. It's because fire danger is going to increase again on Thursday. I'm going to put this into motion. You can see the rotation here. That's that ridge. Earlier on in the week, we thought maybe we'd get a backside slider, we call it, a system out of the northwest, kind of on the backside of the state, bringing in some cloud cover on Sunday. That is no longer going to be an issue. In fact, that is going to head east. So we're just going to continue to be sunny. So here, I'll spell it all out for you. Sunny the next 7 days with temps in the 80s until early next week. We'll see those temperatures fall back a little bit. Fire danger increases Thursday because of lowering relative humidities and also the gusty winds. No major weather headed our way for Kern County, and skies remain clear. Here's a look at the air quality for you today. Going to be moderate with an AQI at 71. And overall, today we'll be looking at the 80s. Bakersfield, 85. We'll see the same in Delano and McFarland, 84 in Maricopa. So very little change from city to city here for the valley. And then for the mountains, look for a light northwest wind, right around 10 to 15 today. 78 in Fraser Park, 82 in Tehachapi with 80s into the Kern River Valley. Lake Isabella at 85. And then for the desert, we're looking at 85 in Ridgecrest, 82 in Mojave here. Extended forecast, we keep in the 80s. In fact, upper 80s Thursday and Friday, but then a cool down next week. By Monday, we're back into those 70s. And then the mountain forecast, a little windy on Thursday, and again by Sunday and Monday, and you can see those temperatures are back into the lower 60s early next week. And then for the Kern River Valley, 80s remain until about Saturday, and then back into the upper 60s by early next week as well.
That'll be nice.
Yeah, but I'll tell you, a hot day down in Southern California today, and the beaches.
Weird.
Yeah.
All right, thanks so much, Kev. Deep fakes, they're raising concern among politicians and techies alike. So what are they, and how can you spot one? Your 17 Business Watch is after the break.
KGET Business Watch is brought to you by Grapevine MSP Technology Services, the Valley's leading IT service provider.
We're back in your 17 Business Watch, and stocks are a little changed today. The Dow up about 18 points so far in trading. The Nasdaq down 43. The S&P 500 down 4. Meantime, checking oil prices, and those are up today. West Texas Intermediate $54.21 a barrel at last check, and Midway Sunset started the day at $57.53 a barrel. Amtrak's inviting you to tour the country this fall for half off. Today and tomorrow only, Amtrak is knocking 50% off the fare for one-way travel booked from November 11th through November 9th. The sale is valid for most services, but some lines are excluded, and November 26th and 27th are blacked out. But if you plan to travel home for Thanksgiving earlier than the 26th, you could really save some cash. Check out Amtrak.com to see the full terms and conditions. TripAdvisor reveals diners' favorite fine dining restaurants in the U.S. with the 2019 Traveler's Choice Awards. Reclaiming the #1 fine dining spot in the country, Daniel in New York City. Famous for its foie gras, Daniel was last atop the list in 2017. A trend of note on the top of the list, top 10 list, is that Charleston, South Carolina is a destination for foodies. The South Carolina coastal city has 3 of the top 10 restaurants in the country, including Hall's Chop House, which took the #2 spot. GW Finn's in New Orleans rounded out the top 3. With the popularity of food delivery services on the rise, a new phenomenon known as ghost kitchens is on the rise as well. Many restaurant owners are whipping up dishes in their own kitchens that can only be accessed through third-party delivery apps like Grubhub and Uber Eats. Other restaurants are expanding their footprint with virtual restaurants where food is prepared for online orders only. It's an effort to capitalize on the online ordering market. It's the fastest growing source of restaurant sales in the U.S., according to analysis from the NDP Group. Fake videos of Nancy Pelosi, Mark Zuckerberg, and Tom Cruise have all gone viral recently, highlighting the power and reach of deep fake videos. And artificial intelligence is making it easier for anyone with a laptop and simple web tools to create them. And that has the tech industry and politicians sounding the alarm. NBC's Aditi Roy takes a look at deep fake content and how social media companies are fighting back.
This fake video of comedian Bill Hader morphing into Tom Cruise went viral last month, showing just how sophisticated and far-reaching deepfake content has become. The technology is also accessible and cheap. The Chinese face-swapping app Zhao has become that country's top smartphone app, but it's also brought privacy issues to the forefront.
We can literally carpet bomb the internet with misinformation.
UC Berkeley professor Hani Farid, a leading deepfake expert, has been hired by Facebook to help weed out fake content.
So both of those sound like Joe Rogan. One of those is completely synthesized.
Other tech companies are also on the offensive. Twitter recently acquired Fabula AI to help detect manipulated content. And Google says it's exploring and investing in ways to address synthetic media. But Farid says the good guys are outgunned in this arms race.
We're sort of playing catch up. We're going to catch up, but here's what I can tell you is the end game. The end game is people like me will lose.
Aditi Roy, CNBC Business News, San Francisco.
It's a national day to make sure prescription drugs don't get into the wrong hands. How you can be part of this community effort next. Welcome back. This weekend is National Drug Take Back Day. The goal of the Drug Take Back is to get rid of unwanted pills so they don't end up in the wrong hands. And joining us to talk about one of the drop-off points and why this event is so important, Ryan Rains, a pharmacist, and Ava Ramirez with Kaiser. Good afternoon to both of you. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for having us.
So why is this event so important?
So this is one of the events that is organized by our local law enforcement to help take back unused drugs out of the community. It's also a safety medication with people taking so many medications. You don't know which ones were stopped or which ones are new ones. So this is an opportunity for our community to send back those unused and unwanted drugs.
Why can't you just toss them in the trash?
Well, there's two issues with that. One is environmental. Sometimes these pills, they get into our water supply, and our water treatment doesn't exactly filter out 100% all of these chemicals that end up in our groundwater and in our landfills. And another is also safety in the home. People have pets. Pets can get into your medications in the trash, or there are some instances that people have been digging around in trash to get these pills that that are selling on the streets. So
Yeah.
it's a way to help take those out off the streets.
This is a safer way to do
Yes,
that. And it's not just prescription drugs we're talking about this weekend. It's really expanding this year. Vape cartridges as well, right? And other items.
Correct. So e-cigarettes and vaping devices will collect. We just ask that you remove the battery from them before you drop them off. We also will have shredding on site. So if you have shredding in your office that needs to get done, please bring it by. We will be collecting cell phones with chargers that will benefit the Alliance Against Family Violence. And the Lions Club will be there collecting eyeglasses and hearing aids. And then the Living Center of Kern County is taking any scooters, manual or power wheelchairs, and they repurpose those for their clients. So, and then Alianza Recycling will be there to take any e-waste, and Goodwill will be there also taking gently used clothing or furniture.
Wow,
And
pretty much everything.
Yes, and no need to get out of your car. We have plenty of volunteers. It's drive-through. It's at our Stockdale facility in the parking lot, 3501 Stockdale Highway, this Saturday, October 26th, from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m.
All right, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Load up your car.
Oh, yeah, no.
Everything that you've been waiting to get rid of in your garage or your cabinets or that extra spare room, right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so clear out the medicine cabinets. They're taking all of these different items. Again, it's happening on Saturday, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the Kaiser Permanente on Stockdale Highway at 3501 Stockdale Highway.
Correct.
Okay. All right, thank you both for coming in this afternoon. We really appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We'll be right back after this.
Welcome back, finally at noon. When you think of Christmas trees, Florida is not the first place you think of, right?
But this year's Rockefeller Center tree was found in Florida. But we're actually talking about Florida and New York. This neighborhood tree is a Norway spruce, and it was selected to be the tree. The first Rockefeller Christmas tree went up in 1931 during the start of the Great Depression, but ceremonies around the tree became an annual affair in 1933. Then in 1951, the lighting ceremony was broadcast for the first time on national television, bringing the iconic tradition right into the American home. This year's tree will be displayed in all of its Christmas glory starting November 9th. What? November 9th? Do you know that's like 2 weeks away?
I know, and I don't understand how they pick the trees. Do they submissions?
They take submissions, yeah.
Oh, we
Why,
want
do you
this
have a
tree out of our front yard, and
I don't think
pretty much
it's
what
like
it is.
get
We're
this
tired
tree
of
out
this
of here.
tree.
Do you have a tree you'd like to nominate next year?
Yeah,
that'd be fun.
No, I like my trees.
Thanks for joining us here for noon. We'll see you back tonight at 5 and 6.
They're hard to come by.
17 News, your local news leader, continues 24 hours a day on KGET.com and our 17 News app. In the spirit of the Golden Empire, 17 News.